move on to our CEO report from Denise Dalrymple.
Good morning. I'm Denise Dalrymple, and I've been so privileged to be your CEO. This has been just really a remarkable experience for me and for my family, and I can't tell you how much I've just loved it. During my presentations at annual meetings, I always like to throw up the gsEvents Community District reference map because I like people to see just what we cover. We have 8 counties from Sand Lake down to Monroe. Most of the portions of the counties, when we merged, we didn't get Plymouth and Northville. Should have, but we didn't. So that's part of our sister camp. We are 5,500 square miles. And many people say, oh my gosh, it's so big and I have to drive so far. Well, we are 80th in terms of the 111 councils in the country. We are 80th in size. That means there's 79 councils that are bigger than us. And we're pretty fortunate that we have pretty good highways to be able to get around. I also this year wanted to put up my CEO patch. This patch was inspired because I was raised in Port Huron on Lake Huron, about 2 miles north of the Blue Water Bridges. And at that time I had red hair, and I have always lived in our jurisdiction. I realized, even though I sometimes ran statewide programs, I still lived in this 8-county region. As it happens, I have about 90 of these CEO patches left. And so on a first come first basis until I run out of them, if you would email me, I'd be willing to mail you one of my CEO patches because I would like to get them out of there. I don't know when I'll be able to mail them, but it would be sometime later in the year. And my email, of course, is my first initial last name at gsEvents.org. I was born in 1952. Go back, Jay. I was born in 1952, which was only 40 years after Girl Scouts was created. And I didn't realize that. I guess as I get older, the time compresses a little bit. But if you remember, since 1912, we've had the First World War, Prohibition, the Great Depression, World War II. I was born in 1952, and I was a Girl Scout in the 60s. We went to the moon in 1973. That was the height of the Vietnam War. My daughter Liz was born in 1989, and she was a Girl Scout in the 90s. And then we've had our economic struggles. We had the Depression in the 30s, the drop in 87, the recessions in the 90s, the 2008, and now we have 2020. The coronavirus, of course, is a huge challenge for us, and it's just really slowed things down as we've tried to pivot to virtual. But we met all those other challenges, and we're going to meet more challenges because our mission is eternal. We create girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. So let's go on to slide 2. What I'd like to do is then level set then and talk about who we are. My presentation is going to give an overview of where we are. I'm going to use statistics, but only to tell a story. And then the vice presidents are Amanda, Jackie, and Tiffany are going to report some representative details of our many, many, many Girl Scout activities. So we are collectively individuals who are working together, going in the same direction to get to the same place, which is to support our GIRLs, or our go-getters, innovators, risk takers, and leaders. Next slide. So here's part of our story. I'm going to be looking back 5 years, and you will see that I'm going to be giving you also then statistics of where we are year to date. And by year to date, that was primarily March 19th. It's the last time I put in these statistics. Amanda Thomas reported yesterday that since in that last 9 days, we've gone up to 168. But, I think that's pretty amazing considering that everything has been shut down. You also see here that as of today, we are still higher in our membership than we were 2 years ago, and we still have the rest of the year to go. Next slide. So here are some 6 years of membership totals in terms of the numbers. You can see here, in going from the left, in 2015, we had an 8.7% drop in membership from 2014 to 2015. And this was the year we were recovering from increasing the cost of cookies from $3 to $4. We did it, had to do it. but I'll tell you, we're really cautious about doing that again for a while, despite the fact that all of our sister councils around us now are charging $5, but we are not recommending an increase for a while. We lost 8.7% in membership. The next year, we covered a little bit, but that was the year that we were going into changing the registration system. 2017, we recovered. We're really, really thrilled about that. But then we had the moving out of the Fisher building and moving into the Brewery Park. We weren't really using the data as well as we were, and we had this huge drop of almost 5% in 2018, which then caused me to reorganize the recruitment responsibilities. And in 2019, we had an increase of 7.4%. And you can see there that in 2019, our membership was higher than it had been since 2014. I think that was really remarkable. We had a 7.4% increase. And this year, boy, we were going blazes. We're going to have a bang up year. I was really thought we were going to do really, really great. Maybe not as much as 7.4, but we were forecasting an increase of 4 or 5%. And then boom, the coronavirus hit us and things now have slowed down. Next slide, please. Here's another part of our story. What this does is tell you what our market is. Our market is girls ages between the age of 5 and 17. And you can see from 2016 to 2019, there was a drop from 375,257 girls to 359,000 girls. And you'll notice here that demographers, national demographers are projecting a further drop. This is on top of the drop that we had since the year 2000. About 6 or 7 years ago, the board of directors commissioned a report, a census report from Data Driven Detroit. And what they presented to us is that our market, or the total number of girls ages between 5 and 17, went down almost 19% from the year 2000 to the year 2010. And we're still suffering this decline in the number of girls available here. We have a state that's aging. We have a generation of girls that are women that are putting off having children, or they're having fewer children. And then, of course, we have the out migration. So that means that we have to work really hard at getting out the Girl Scout message and trying to keep up. You'll see here then the girl population by program level, and you can see here, give you some ideas of the percentages that went down. And I know we always bemoan the fact that, oh my gosh, our older girls, we don't serve them as well, and we don't. We have a drop off, and I'm going to show that next. But you can see there that also has been seniors ambassadors have also been some of the largest dropped in our market. Next slide, please. So here are girl members by number and market share. This was as February 2020. We got these numbers from GSUSA. I think these have improved. You can see here in red, though, that the brownies were the ones where we've lost in market share. The other ones we've maintained or we've gone up. Good news about the daisies, I think, is that our market share has gone up. But brownies are really our sweet spot. And as I said, I think that's improved since this number was published in February. Next slide, please. So to give you an idea of where our girls are in terms of program and grade level, this isn't going to change very much from the numbers you see here. It hasn't changed significantly in the last couple of weeks. You can see, though, that the bulk of our population, the bulk of the girls that we serve, are from K through 5. One of the things I'm most proud of, though, is the improvement in the number of girls that we serve that are cadets. That has gotten better over time. There is a drop-off from the juniors to the cadets, but it isn't as severe as it used to be. But where we do have that huge drop-off is in the senior ambassadors. And so I think it behooves us to remember, when we're talking about where we put our emphasis, that seniors and ambassadors only make up about 5% of our membership. And so when I hear people say, oh, we need to invest a lot more money in the older girls, well, the fact is we need to invest money in K through 8. The more girls that we have in K through 8, the more likelihood it is that we'll have seniors and ambassadors. And interestingly enough, if girls start in 9th grade, the chances are really good that they're going to end up going the distance, going up to the 12th grade. Next slide, please. Now I'd like to run through a series of slides to tell you about where we are in terms of race and ethnicity. I know those. I did the best I could. We did the best we could to try to get that print higher than it is, but it'll just trying to give you an idea. We have the blue is the percentage of girls who report themselves as white is about 48%. Black African American is about 18.5%. We have the Hawaiian Pacific Islander, First Nations, Asian, and multiple. Those aren't huge here. We have to remember, though, that Middle Eastern is not reported as a category here, and we know that we have the largest Middle Eastern population in the United States. Is outside of the Middle East, is in Southeastern Michigan. But what's really a problem here, though, when you look at this, is that we have 11.73% not reported and about 16.5% who choose not to share, which leads up to a little bit more than 27% are unknown. And so trying to figure out where we really are is a problem when people either don't report it or choose not to share. And I get it. I get it that these categories really don't fit very well. We have 82 languages spoken in Southeastern Michigan, 82 languages, and trying to cram those 82 peoples into these kind of meager categories is really difficult, and some people find that insulting. But that kind of hurts us in terms of trying to figure out who are we really serving. Let's move on to the adult slide. In terms of adults, we have a little bit better. We have 23% are unknown as opposed to the girls who are 27% unknown. And over time, we will see that we are disproportionately represented by white leaders and white members compared to the girls that we serve. We obviously need to do a better job in improving our diversity in terms of our leaders. The next slide, please. I have a couple of slides here that we show to the board of directors, and the board development committee in particular is very sensitive to this composition. You see at the far left where it has race and then it has ethnicities, and we don't make these categories up. These are provided by the U.S. Census, and we use them because we can get the data from the U.S. Census. So if you go all the way to the right, and you see the female population over age 18 in our 8-county jurisdiction, as per most recent U.S. Census numbers, you will see that it's almost 1.9 million women over the age of 18 total. Then you'll see here what those numbers would mean by those categories. And so we have then percent of the board. We have 2 board members who are Asian or report themselves as Asian American, and so that's 10%. We have 7 board members who, as of January 2020, so that's 35% of the board, and we have 11 board members who report as white, and that's 55%. And then we have lost our Middle Asian and we had Hispanic people in the interim between 16 and 20, but lost them. And so there's an area, the ethnicity is an area not well as representative, I think, as the board of directors would like, and I know they're working on that. Let's move on now to the next slide that shows you the staff race and ethnicity. And this includes all of our full-time and regular part-time. Part of this is a little distorted because, frankly, we do have a problem finding women of color to work in our camps. And so our camps are disproportionately white, but that is part of who we are. And so that's why I'm showing you these numbers. And these haven't really changed all that much. And so we have 70% of the staff is white, and we have about 24% that are Black or African American, Middle Eastern person, and we have 3 Hispanic people. And this is showing the comparison from 2016 to 2020. This hasn't changed. Neither of these has changed very much. And we work and are very sensitive and try to open up our channels so that we can attract a diverse group of staff. All right, next slide. Now I'd like to go into something that really thrills me. We're going to be talking about what, to me, are some of the most important indicators that we are improving our customer service and that we have volunteers coming back as a result. So here are some renewal statistics. Here's a definition of renewal. That means the number of current members who were also members in the previous year divided by the current membership to date. So that's a formula. and it's the same formula from March 19th, 2019 to March 19th, 2020. And so our total renewal has gone up by 6%. Girl renewal is almost 6%, and so our adult lifetime renewal is a little over 7%. And that's good. That means that the membership is coming back. Another way to look at renewal is on the next slide. So if you look at as of March 19th, 2020, and you look at the number in 2015 versus the number in 2020, and 2020 is just year to date as of March 19th. As of March 19th, we had more members renew, the highest that we've ever had, going back to 2014. I'm really, really proud of that number. That means that we're going to do even better than that because we're having people renew. We're falling down a little bit this year is the number of new members, but again, this is only midway through the year, and typically we add a couple more thousand new members between now and September. I don't know what's going to happen this year, but I think 31,158 actually was 31,168 as of yesterday is a pretty good number and still better than it was 2 years ago, and this is with 6 months to go. Next slide, please. So this is a graph this will show you a little bit if you like the graphs better than the numbers. The orange is the renew, or the reddish is the renew, the orange is the new, and the green is the total. So that kind of concludes some of those statistics. I'd like to move on now, next slide, to a membership renewal at comparing adults and girls. And so you can see here again, we've had more adults renew than we've had in since 2014, and the same thing with girls. But where our difficulties have lied so far has to be in our new adults and in new girls. Next slide, please. So this is a very interesting score, and I kind of don't know what I think about it, except that I threw it in here because it is a remarkable increase. This is called the Net Promoter Score, and this is something that a lot of businesses use. It's kind of unusual for a nonprofit to use. And basically, you get your Net Promoter Score by subtracting your detractors from your promoters. And so detractors, I have a definition there, and this is hard. This is detractors are troop leaders who rate their satisfaction at 6 or below. But that means when people are unhappy, then that could hurt our brand. Because one of the ways we know, one of our best ways of recruitment, besides, we go to the meetings and so on and so forth, but what really matters is when you as a volunteer tell other people, wow, that was really great, or man, that was horrible. That was terrible. People either go on Facebook and they say, boy, I had a really good experience, or they go on Facebook and say, I hate the council, they did this, I don't like this, I don't like that. That really hurts us when we have those kind of detracting comments. Passive supporters are people who only rate Girl Scouts that are 7 or 8. I think 7 or 8 would be pretty good, but what you really want are people who will rate you as a 9 or a 10, and that means that they are enthusiastic and they will consistently refer others to Girl Scouts, which then will help our growth. So in 2019, this survey of new troop leaders was our Net Promoter Score was only a 21. But this year, the Net Promoter Score this came out, brand new information, jumped up to a 34. So that means I think that our concentration on trying to provide better support to new troop leaders is really paying off. What we've done in the last 2 years is that we have recruitment staff go to the first meeting with parents along with the new troop leader to try to answer questions, because new troop leaders may not be able to answer all the questions that parents may have. Then we have troop support people go to the first meeting with the troop leader with the girls. And that does a couple of things. That helps get the new troop leader better supported, get them off to a good start, and then also helps them get to know who the people are and that they can lean on for support. We can introduce people to Volunteer Toolkit, which is a hugely great, if you haven't tried it, you really should use it. It really is a great resource for folks. I think all of those efforts that we can really see now are paying off. Okay, next slide. So that kind of concludes the information that I had that I wanted to talk about in terms of giving you a picture of who we are, and I hope that helps you give a glimpse of where we are and where we've been at Girl Scouts. I put up this slide. Elaine Marcotte, one of my long-term volunteers, gave me a Mariners pin to add my collection, but in Port Huron, I was too young. Darcy Perkins' older sister was a Mariner Girl Scout, but she was like 3 years older than us, and so by the time we got to that age, Darcy and I, the Mariners had sort of petered out, and they weren't doing that again. GSUSA has started up, and in fact, we're starting up a Mariners troop, and I'm really excited about that. I put this slide up because I think it's really important that we remember how resilient we are, that we do really great stuff. We've done really great stuff. We're going to do really great stuff. We're very fortunate that GSUSA and GSSEM have invested so much in technology. We have world-class technology, and that means that we have been able to pivot to virtual. And you'll be seeing a lot more of virtual stuff. Online badges. We, as a council, we have 15 different patches to keep girls going. We've got some great resources for volunteers, new level training for net levels of girls, talking about age-appropriate development and handling problems. Those trainings are going up for volunteers. We just are putting up a training about how to work with girls with disabilities I'm so proud my staff worked on this along with disability advocates to make sure that we were providing good information. This is really important that we're able to pivot during this coronavirus, and that's why I think you're going to see a lot more virtual stuff. In fact, today or yesterday, GSUSA put up a whole site about Girl Scouts online. Now, and you'll be seeing a lot more of this for virtual meetings and calls versus Skype, Zoom, GoToMeeting. And so we're hoping that these tools will get us through until we can resume face-to-face activities. That may take us a while. I think 2020 is going to be really rough. I think that no doubt, the coronavirus has really slowed us down. But you know what? We're going to keep at this. We're going to do what we have to do to manage this thing. We have, I think, an unbeatable mission. We've got dedicated volunteers, dedicated staff, a dedicated board. We've got just an astonishingly helpful national headquarters in Girl Scouts of the USA. And boy, I tell you, I am just so amazed by Sylvia Acevedo, who is our national president. I urge you to Google her, find out about her. She's really an inspiring person. Girl Scouts is a face-to-face activity, and it's really important. Girl Scouts is not really a solo activity. Girls do things. They learn from each other. They get together in order to help change the world. And as adults there, we need to stand there and help them. But in the meantime, we're going to do what we have to do. And hey, look at today. We have today, in my experience as your CEO, we have a record number of delegates in participating in this meeting. We have a record number of districts represented, and that really tells me about how determined we are as a group trying to get to that same place and determined to master this new reality. And I'm so proud of this. I have to tell you, as my last annual meeting, at least as your CEO. Moving on now to the presentation by the vice presidents. This organization chart is the exact same one that we had last year because we have the exact same people in place. And so this worked out pretty well. And so what I did last year was jump over the chiefs and ask the vice presidents to give a presentation about the activities in their particular area. This particular org chart obviously doesn't have everybody that works for us, but it does show you the functions. And so to give you an idea of who's in charge of what, I know this is kind of small. And then after this presentation, Telva wanted me to be sure to tell you that we will post this. We will have this on our website. We'll send out a message to all of you and giving you the box account where you can go and find this presentation on your own, and also a recording. This presentation is being recorded, which is something that we've never done before, but we've been able to do because of our partnership with our moderators. So coming up, we're going to have a presentation from Amanda Thomas. Jackie Busey, and Tiffany Griffin. So why don't I turn it over now? Wait a minute, let me stop and see. Are there any questions? Well, as Talbot said, I'm going to be around for another month. And so if you have any questions,
Wait,
feel
hold on,
free.
Denise. You don't
Oh,
get to
sorry.
go yet. We have
Okay.
2 questions.
Okay.
2 questions. Rebecca Szymanski?
Hi, again from 0203. I know that the whole motto of Girl Scouts is Girl United, but we have seen an increase, at least I have, with the mothers that I've talked to and the girls I've talked to, with Juliet's. Now, I don't feel, in my personal opinion, that we give as much dedication or focus on these girls. And there's many different reasons why they Juliet, due to other commitments, family restraints. I mean, is there any time where we are going to give as much focus to that group of girls and as we do to uniting as the troop itself?
Let me answer it this way. We have staff who are devoted to the Juliets that reach out to the parents to engage them. I think that we forget, though, how much work it is to be a troop leader. And so when parents choose to have their girls be Juliets, then they really need to start taking over like a troop leader. And if they're not able to do that, then the girls aren't going to get the quality experience. And to try to make up for that, we have events for them. We invite them to come to our events. Juliets can come to any appropriate level event. We've made really sure that if you have district events, those girls should be district and community events, those girls should be invited. And Juliets do have the opportunity to sell cookies, participate in the STEM events, Beyond Robotics. I think we're really, I share your concern. I wish they really were more involved, but the parents are really going to have to be able to ensure their experience. I think parents are really important too. Anyway, I don't think that we emphasize enough at all about how parents can be involved and that it's okay for girls to earn badges at home with their parents. They don't have to just do it in a troop. So I think all of the adults, the operational volunteers, the staff, the parents, troop leaders, we need to figure out how we can better provide better services for the Juliets. Yeah, and yeah, I do think about that a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for raising the question.
And we have one other question from Raven Gregory.
I'm sorry, I'm service unit manager for 802 on top of troop leader. My question more so is, how do you think to get more parent, and not just parent involvement, but to get adults to maintain membership? I get it as a parent of a Girl Scout and a troop leader. Getting parents and people to come back every year is a difficult process. But how do you want to engage parents to say, or engage in general to get new troops to say, oh yes, I'll stay, or no, I don't think I want to do this again? I get yes, we prefer the 9, 10, but the reality is those 4s and 5s are there where there are experiences that unfortunately are negative. And personally myself, last year as a first-time troop leader, I said this at a lead and learn a couple of months ago, that as a troop leader for the first time, I felt a little abandoned in my first year, to where I suggested that there be not just a troop support person go out, but also do more community meetings for troop leaders to be involved with each other.
You have a couple of things there, and so let me see if I can go down the list. I'm sad about that, to hear you as a first year troop leader, because we've really been trying to invest more in it. And my feeling is that we really have to start at the beginning, and beginning with parents. Among the things that we've done as a local is to develop a parent guide. And so it's really important that we get the parent guide out to families. I will tell you my experience as a parent when my daughter was in Girl Scouts. Nobody told me how important Girl Scouts was. And so when Liz at the 5th grade said, "Oh, I don't want to do Girl Scouts. I want to go to tap and ballet." It's like, "Oh yeah, okay." Because nobody explained to me the value of Girl Scouts and the difference that it could make in her future. And I spent a heck of a lot more money on tap and ballet than I even thought about spending on Girl Scouts. And I was a good mom. I brought the snacks. I went on every event. I went camping with them. I did all of that stuff. But nobody really explained to me the value of Girl Scouts. And so I think all of us need to do a better job of explaining to parents why Girl Scouts is important and why their participation is important. I also think we don't do a very good job of involving dads and uncles and grandparents. I think that we need to be more welcoming and not just say, "Oh, well, it's just the women in the family." Although, as I talk to some of my Boy Scout friends, I think women are doing the heavy lifting at Boy Scouts too. Running all those Cub Scout meetings. As for getting people to come back over and over, one of the things that we don't do here in Southeastern Michigan that they do in some other parts of the country is require every member, every parent to become a member. And we don't do that because we don't want there to be a barrier to people participating. I think that if we use Volunteer Toolkit the way that it is intended, that will give you tools to send out emails to parents to say, "This is what we studied today, and this is why it's important." I think communication is really important, and you need to use as troop leaders all of the tools that are available to you so you can get information out to parents. I know that working with parents is the number one reason why troop leaders don't have a good experience. And so that's why here that we've invested in a mediator as a person to try to come out and try to work with those questions and work with parents. And actually, one of the things sometimes we have to do is ask parents to back off because they're creating so many problems for the troop. We could lose the troop because some of the parents are so unreasonable. Those are some of the suggestions I have. And I really commend you for going to the Lead and Learn because that's where the people that can help you, Jackie and the troop support people, they need to hear what you have to say and hear what your suggestions are so that they can try to implement those and try to put some of those in action. We're very, very dependent on volunteers to help volunteers, though. And so I would hope that we are better able to extend our mentoring program. It's really helpful and really important that you get your answers from a good variety of folks. Does that help a little bit? Did I cover the things that you wanted me to cover?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm still going to be here for another month until we can finish up finding the person to replace me. As I said, the coronavirus has just slowed everything down, so we're just going to have to, recognize that. But in the meantime, please feel free to email me. My email is ddalrymple@gsSEM.org. And anybody will tell you, my standard is to answer an email within 24 hours, and typically I do it within 12. I probably should get a life and not be on my phone all the time. And after I retire, that's my aspiration. But please feel free to contact me, and I will be sure that you get connected with the people that can help you. I have a really dedicated staff, and their intent is to help you have a good experience. Is there any other questions?
Yes, Denise, we have one more question from Linda Dandridge.
Hi, Linda.
Linda, go ahead. Hey, Linda, go ahead. Linda, your hand is raised. Do you have a question? Hey, Linda, you're unmuted. Okay. We will assume that was a mistake, Linda. And if you are able to, oh, there she is. Linda, is that you? Nope. Okay. We will move on then, and then hopefully she'll be able to speak later if she still has that question.
So next, let's hear from Amanda Thomas, who is our wonderful Vice President of Customer Support, one of 3 wonderful Vice Presidents.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Amanda Thomas. I am the Vice President of Customer Support for gsEvents. I was a Girl Scout girl member in this council for 8 years in the Downriver Service Unit. So it's really fun to be able to now work here. I started working at gsEvents in 2014. And so I've been here going on 6 years now, and I previously worked for Girl Scouts Heart of Michigan in product program, and I also worked for Girl Scouts of Colorado when I was in college on their summer camp staff for 3 seasons. So I have a long history with Girl Scouts, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity to work with all of you every day. Before I get started, I just want to thank everyone for your help and support as we've tried to navigate wrapping up our 2020 Girl Scout Cookie Program, which was not scheduled to end until April the 6th, but we actually had to put a pause on it on around March the 16th due to kind of the rapidly changing events that we've all been experiencing. So I just wanted to thank everyone for your help and support. It's just been really joyful to see how some of our experienced troop leaders have really stepped up to help out our newer troops in ways that they could safely sell their inventory on the digital platform or through donations. And just heartfelt thanks to all of our volunteers, whether it's on our product program committee or our cookie cupboard managers. This is between the 2 councils, this is my 8th go around with the cookie program. So it's very strange to have a Saturday in March where there are no Girl Scout cookie booths, but being able to hear so many familiar voices and see all of your names today has been really great. So just wanted to start with a thank you to everyone. And we've tried to answer all the questions that you've had about the cookie program thus far, but when I get to the end of the presentation, I will take any additional questions that might still be hanging out there. So the components of the departments that I oversee are product program, which Kathy Weaver during her presentation mentioned are the Girl Scout Cookie Program, as well as our fall sale program of nuts, candy, and magazines. Our retail sales, which consists of our 3 retail shops at our Detroit, Clinton Township, and White Lake Service Centers, as well as our trading posts at Camp Hawthorne Hollow and Camp Playfair. Our customer care team, which are the staff that handle all of your event registrations, paper memberships, refund requests, things like that, as well as answer our 800 number and all of our general incoming emails. And with that is our data analyst who helps provide data and information for all of the departments that we have at gsEvents. Our recruitment team, which we have 10 recruiters and a director of recruitment that recruit new girl and adult members and partner with our service unit volunteers to do the same in all of our communities. And lastly, our inside sales team, they partner with the recruitment team to help girls and new adult members and volunteers get through the registration process of background checks and paying for their membership and things like that. Next slide. So first today, I want to start by sharing some new information about the way that we have recruited particularly adult volunteer members over the past couple of years and how it's helped us. We began using a method called Sandler. The Sandler sales method is not unique to Girl Scouts. It's used in a lot of other industries, but Girl Scouts of the USA was very helpful in partnering with the Sandler sales company to adapt the Sandler sales method to focus on our needs here in Girl Scouts. The key of the Sandler method is really trying to make sure you find an ideal fit for both parties. And that's really critical for Girl Scout volunteers. All of you can attest to being a Girl Scout volunteer is rewarding, and it also takes a lot of time and dedication. And so we need to make sure that for the well-being of everybody, we're finding the right fit for those volunteer roles. If we just put anybody in place who thinks they might be interested, then you start up a troop and they never really get off the ground, or there's not good parent communication, or you have a volunteer who didn't quite understand what they were getting into. And that goes back to our Net Promoter Score that Denise was talking about, and you end up with a lot more detractors. So the Sandler method of sales does take more time. A key is building trust, having a conversation in small groups. So instead of having, an auditorium full of people where you're standing on a stage and talking to them, the Sandler method is about sitting down in front of a group and having a conversation with them, finding out what people are trying to get out of the experience. Everybody who goes into a volunteer experience has something that they want to get out of it. And so with Girl Scouts, oftentimes we find that is supporting their daughter, finding an activity that they can bond with their daughter over, something they can do together. So we really try to dig down and find out what people are seeking. And then we also share, as an organization, what do we need from our volunteers? So being very open and honest with people about what is the time commitment it takes to be a volunteer, what are the things that you'll have to do, what resources will you have at your disposal that you'll need to navigate. And so by doing all of those things, we try to ensure that we're forming a mutually beneficial relationship. Where if it is not a good fit, we're letting people opt themselves out and finding other ways that their daughter can be involved in Girl Scouts, and just making sure that we find the right fit for our volunteer positions. And doing so really helps our retention of both girls and adults because everybody's having a more positive experience. Next slide. We're very fortunate at GSSEM to have Ruth Wilson as our Director of Recruitment. Ruth was one of the first staff several years ago trained in the Sandler method, and she has now been elevated to become a national Sandler sales coach. So in addition to working with the 10 recruitment staff at GSSEM and making sure that they are always up to speed on the most innovative Sandler methods, Ruth also travels to other councils around the country and trains their new staff as well. Next slide. So I'm going to shift to my product program responsibilities and talk first a little bit about the fall sale program and then some highlights of Digital Cookie. Our fall sale program is, of course, smaller than our cookie program, but it is a great program because it acclimates troops to participating in a product program and is not very much work for volunteers and can give the troops some good funds to start their year off right. So this year in our fall 2019 program, we did see a slight decrease, not significant, in our overall sales volume of nuts and candy, but we saw an increase in troops participating. So we know that there are probably some reasons for that. During our fall sale was when the GM strike was going on, which hit some of our areas harder in terms of expendable income at that time. But the fall program is small but mighty, and we are planning to continue rolling forward with that. M2 Media Group met with us last week, and they have some exciting improvements just to continue to make this program easier for troop leaders. So more to come with the fall sale towards the end of the summer. Next, I want to talk about our Digital Cookie program. Digital Cookie is, of course, our online platform that girls can use to set up their own cookie e-commerce site and take orders from family and friends that can either be shipped directly to them, donated to our Troops to Troops program, or delivered by the girls if the customers live locally. So we have seen every year sort of exponential growth in our Digital Cookie platform through all of our methods. Our shipped, donated, and girl delivered continue to grow. On this slide, you will see Girl Delivered really drove that growth in 2019 because that was the first year that the Girl Delivered option was available. But it's very convenient for parents. There's no money to be collected by either the parent or the troop. It all flows through the digital platform. So that's very helpful. Next slide. So as you can see, our total orders grew from about 6,500 to just over 24,000 between 2018 and 2019. Packages per order is about 7.4. And just a note on the packages per order, in person, our data shows us in person at a booth, the average packages per order is 3, whereas on the digital platform it is over double at 7.4. So customers, when they have time to think about it or sitting at their computer, they tend to purchase more than they do in person. And we've also continued to see the number of orders and the number of packages sold per girl on the digital platform grow. So this is something that we will continue to support. You can expect continued improvements on the digital platform as we move into next year. And I know the digital platform has also been very helpful in helping troops close out their sale this year in a safe way. Next, I want to talk a little bit about our retail shops and focus really on our national online shop. GirlScoutShop.com is our national online shop. And there's a lot of advantages. You don't have to travel. Everything is always in stock. And new for 2019, we started adding all of our gsSEMs, what we call our council-owned merchandise, so things that are branded with Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan, our own council patch programs, our camp merchandise. So really, you can find pretty much anything that you need on our national online shop. For the first quarter of membership year 20, our online sales were up 22%. So this continues to be a convenient way for our volunteers and members to shop. And we do plan to continue to increase our council's own merchandise that is available to you online. I also want to add something that came out after we finalized the slides, just that for the duration of the coronavirus pandemic, GSUSA has made shipping completely free on the national online shop. So I know our service centers are currently closed with the state shutdown, but shipping is 100% free, no minimum orders on GirlScoutShop.com. So if you do need to order some things, or you need badges or bridging supplies or anything like that, all of our troops, volunteers, families can go to GirlScoutShop.com and place their order with completely free shipping, at least for the next several weeks. So I would encourage everyone to take advantage of that if you have anything that you need. Another highlight of our retail operations in 2019 was the addition of a new trading post at Camp Playfair. Camp Playfair, as was mentioned during the property report, lots of troops are now camping there for troop camping. So we did add the trading post so that girls and families can pick up any souvenirs from their experience at Camp Playfair, as well as patches and shirts. We did sort of a soft opening last year with the connectivity there. At first, we were not able to accept credit or debit payments, but we were able to get that fixed over the winter. So now it's a full service trading post. So once things are operating normally again and you're able to get there, hopefully this summer, you will be able to shop at our new trading post. And the last thing I want to leave you with is just something exciting coming forth called Volunteer Systems 2.0. So right now, all of you are probably aware, or painfully aware, that whenever you're trying to do things for Girl Scouts, you have multiple different logins. So you might have one to register as a member for your family. You might have one as your troop leader login to view your troop roster, another login for eBiz to register for events. So Volunteer Systems 2.0 will combine all of those things into one system so that everything you're doing for Girl Scouts is with one login on one system. So I think this will be a great improvement for all of us. It will be a dynamic experience, meaning that you can purchase everything in one spot. So membership purchases for yourself and your family, renewal for your troop, managing your troop, registering for camp and events, everything will be in one sign-on on one portal. Additionally, it will open up a national platform so that you can see events and camping opportunities in other councils, not just your own. So maybe if you're traveling somewhere and you would prefer to stay at a Girl Scout camp property, you'll be able to see that through the new system where you can type in the zip code where you'll be heading, and it will open up a variety of options for both events and camping that might be available. Also, if a girl is maybe split between two households, she's going somewhere else for the summer, going to visit a grandparent, she would be able to register for camp and events in other councils where she will be going. A bonus for troop leaders, you'll have the ability on your own to hide inactive members so that your rosters will look a lot cleaner, and you'll be able to print your own membership cards. Next slide. Girl Scout events, gsEvents, will also be part of the same system, and it will be a single sign-on, as I mentioned, and it will allow you to register for all of your events using the same portal. So you can select girls right off your roster and register them all with one sign-on. So we are really looking forward to this. We don't have an exact date for launch yet, and don't know yet how the coronavirus will affect the ability to launch this, but we're hoping within the next year we'll be able to move forward with this and make things a lot easier for all of you. So that concludes my presentation, and at this time I'll take any questions that you might have about either my presentation or wrapping up your 2020 cookie program.
Question on cookie rewards. Parents and some troop leaders are asking, with everything wrapping up at the beginning of May, when would they be expected to receive those?
We are hopeful that everyone will receive those by the first week of June. It will again depend on how things transpire over the next couple of weeks, but we are hopeful in talking with Little Brownie Baker that there will not be much of a delay on that, and we're hopeful that everyone will still be able to get those by the first week of June.
Thank you, Patricia. We have another question. Amber Spooler, you're going to have to enter your PIN on the phone tab. You're going to need to enter your PIN before you'll be able to ask the question. So please do that, and I'll come back to you. Ann Orlando Brewer, go ahead.
Hi, I'm with Community 0201. I just had a question for cookie sales. I did see the email where we can return the unopened cases, but in finishing up, I know the council's not doing booths, but once everything's hopefully over soon, like come June or July, can a troop still do like a local booth, or could we sell them like at a garage sale? I'm just looking like what opportunities or what can we still do as a troop to sell those cookies outside of, just trying to do the online stuff or through social media?
Sure. So gsSEM is not able to arrange any additional booths with our corporate partners just because they're so uncertain right now and so many things have changed for them with their employees and what they're trying to do. So when we did reach out, we were not successful, unfortunately, in it being able to arrange more booths for this year. We are hopeful they'll all return for next year. In regards to your question about can troops individually sell, you can absolutely do that. We are just kind of on a watch and wait to see when the stay home order is lifted. We would of course ask that you wait until that is lifted, and then once that is lifted, if that is really at the discretion of the troop and the parents, if they feel like there's a local event that's safe that they want to sell to the public, then you'd be welcome to do that. We are trying to wrap everything up by May 1st because we found, and customers tell us, and customers tell Little Brownie when they do their surveys, that there really is kind of a shelf life to people supporting Girl Scouts and supporting the cookies. And so we do want to have a defined campaign and wrap up on May 1st. But assuming that the stay home order is lifted in a couple of weeks, you would be welcome to sell there locally if you would like to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Amber, your question, Amber Stewart. Sorry, go ahead, Amber.
Hi, Amber Spooler from 1101. My question is, and Amanda, I apologize if this isn't directly your wheelhouse, but coming from a community standpoint from 11, we were getting a lot of our community funds from additional cents from the cookies and from fall product. Is that, and maybe I'm ill-informed, is that no longer a part of the process? Are communities no longer allowed to receive funding from fall in cookie sales in order to offset costs for community events and community things to help our girls locally?
I will probably have to defer that question to Jackie Busey. As far as I'm aware, in the 6 cookie sales that I've been with GSSEM, we have not allocated part of the proceeds directly to the community. We have the council level, and then we have the troop proceeds and rewards. But I don't know, Jackie, if that's something that you're aware of.
No, in my experience with GSSEM, we haven't given community funds any proceeds from the cookie or fall product sale.
This is Denise. And if I can jump in here, before you two were employed by us, what we did is we set up the communities, and the communities had balances of about $10,000. And we were trying to keep people whole. And what we found is that that was pretty good cash flow in order to be able to put on the community events. And in fact, in some communities, people were a little too frugal, and so we've had to ask some communities to lower the price of their events because we didn't want them to keep building up their accounts. I'd be happy to talk with you more about that. Denise Minoletti, our CFO, and I go way back on this, and so please shoot me an email and we can talk about that a little bit further. I don't know what your circumstances are in your particular area, but let's have a call. Let's have a call.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks, Denise.
Okay, thanks, Amber. We have Rebecca Smansky.
Hi. So I noticed that due to the Corona thing, they've opened up that digital cookie for Girl Deliver. Has it ever been a thought that we leave that open all through cookie season, period end? Because living in a rural area, in a very small rural area, sometimes getting booths is a little bit hard because we have to travel so far to get booths. But to be able to do cookie sales, we can have people order from us, pay online, and then we can just drop off cookies at people's houses. Honestly, that's how I do it. 90% of my daughter's sales are that way. I'd probably say 70% of my troop sales are that way. But it's hard if we don't have that avenue by using digital cookie to do that.
Yeah, I think that you make a great point, and obviously there's been a lot of challenges with the situation, but I think one of the plus sides is us being able to see how well that has worked and continuing to keep the girl delivery option open. So for those of you that maybe don't work as closely with the cookie program, what Rebecca is asking is that there are 3 ways people can purchase on Digital Cookie. They can pay for shipping and have it shipped to their home. They can do a virtual donation in which they donate a box, and then at the end of the program, the council donates all of those to our charity partner, Soldiers Angels. Or they can select Girl Delivery, in which they pay online, and then it's up to the girl and the family and the troop to fulfill that order. And so for the past couple of years, the Girl Delivery option has only been available during the initial part of the sale and not during the booth portion. And so what Rebecca was suggesting is that perhaps we can leave it open longer. And this year, because of the unique circumstances, we were actually able to work with GSUSA and reopen the Girl Delivery for 4 weeks to kind of help troops get rid of their inventory, and it's actually worked very well. So because it has worked so well, I think it's definitely something that we will be looking at for next year. There are really not many downsides to it and a lot of advantages, as you mentioned, especially to some of our troops that, for a variety of reasons, can't do as many booths. So barring some kind of negative reasons coming out, I think that we will probably move forward with that for next year, and we'll definitely consider it in our planning, leaving that option open for the whole program.
Cool.
Okay, that looks like that question cleared a couple of other questions, and so at this time we have no more questions.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and I will now pass it over to my colleague, Tiffany Griffin, Vice President of Programs.
And Tiffany, you're unmuted. Thank you. Thank you so much, Amanda, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Tiffany Griffin, and I am your Vice President of Programs and Outdoor Education here at GSSEM. I have been so excited to be a part of this team for over 15 years in so many different capacities, and I am so proud to be a lifetime Girl Scout member. Next slide, please. As you can see, there are many components to the program department. I'm so excited to be able to share with you all of the amazing things that have happened over the last membership year. I have the pleasure of working with 25 amazing women that work so very hard to provide quality programs to girls throughout Southeastern Michigan. We have a lot to cover, so sit back and relax and let's get started. Next slide, please. Our first program is our outreach program, the Girl Engagement Initiative. As you can see, we are currently serving 4,250 girls in 55 schools throughout Southeastern Michigan. Let me share a little bit of brief history with you regarding the Girl Engagement Initiative. It started in 2015 in order to meet the needs of girls in Southeastern Michigan that wanted to be in Girl Scouting, but we did not have enough volunteers to create traditional troops. So we created and organized and hired 10 full and part-time staff to meet that need. The goal of the Girl Engagement Initiative is to give girls in grades K through 12 a full Girl Scout experience, most times during the school year, right during their school time. These girls belong to troops, they participate in field trips, they earn badges, and more importantly, they sell cookies. This program was also designed to eliminate that barrier of transportation so that girls could participate in Girl Scouting. Next slide, please. We talked earlier about the STEM pledge and STEM programming, and GSSEM is doing our part. This year, our first robotics teams had an amazing year. In addition to the numbers that you see on the screen, I want you to know that we have increased our first robotics participants by 25 girls over year 2018. Last year, we had 2 teams that qualified for the World Championship. The first robotics teams of Space Glam and Adrian's Asteroids, both from River Rouge STEM Academy. Also in 2018, we had Girltastic. We had the honor of becoming GSSEM's inaugural first Tech Challenge team. This group serves girls that are in grades K through 12. This team is led by Mary White and Jennifer Praler, and they coached 5 girls through the 2018 through 2019 challenge. This team won the Judges Award at a qualifying tournament. This year, this team has 9 girls, and 4 girls from last year have returned. A few notable responses from the girls. 75% of the girls responded, "I am so excited to learn about science." In another survey question, 85% of the girls responded positively to knowing science and technology is important to being a good citizen. Next slide, please. Through the Girl Scout Leadership Experience, girls have the opportunity to participate in a collection of engaging, challenging, and fun activities like earning badges, exploring STEM, getting outdoors, and learning to become an entrepreneur, as well as life skills. Girls also learn leadership skills and how to take action. Nearly 19,000 girls and adults participated in programs such as Meet Me at the Zoo, Chemistry Day, Kaleidoscope of Science, Home Design at Ethan Allen, Michigan State Fair, the Maker Fair in Dearborn, First Robotics Teams, coding programs, and cybersecurity day camps at Wash College. GSSEM could not do what we do without the support of our many partners. These partners bring programming experience that allows girls to have life-changing experiences and opportunities. Next slide, please. Now, I know you're asking yourself, what is a badge boss? Am I a badge boss? Let me give you a few definitions. A badge boss provides a badge workshop for girls in which girls will have the opportunity to earn a badge on the expertise of the volunteer. A badge boss brings unique knowledge and experiences to your troops and gives your girls an awesome experience. This new initiative was created to assist troops with additional programming directly at their troop meeting. This is a list of volunteers that are waiting to come to your individual troop meetings. There must be a minimum of 10 girls in your troop in order for a badge boss to come. In the 2018-2019 program year, over 20 troops had the opportunity to have a badge boss to come to their troop or service center and earn these badges. If you're interested in having a badge boss, you can go to the gsSEM.org website and search for badge boss troop request form. Next slide, please. Programs and activities for cadets and Ambassador Girl Scouts are designed to help girls develop a sense of self, provides the opportunities to display positive values, provides her the skills to seek challenges and learn from setbacks, helps her form and maintain healthy relationships, as well as help her to learn to identify and solve problems in her community. As you can see, we've had various programs for older girls to participate in. Moxie Talks, Camp CEO, and Camp Fury, which I'll talk about a little bit later when we get to the outer doors, are Moxie Talks. And we're also training girls to help out in programs such as our program aid and counselors in training. Next slide, please. Bronze, silver, and gold, the highest award a Girl Scout can earn. All three awards give girls the chance to do big things while supporting an issue that they care about. Juniors might plant a community garden at a school or inspire others to eat healthy foods to earn their bronze awards. Cadets could advocate for animal rights for their silver award, and seniors and ambassadors could choose to build a career network that encourages girls to become scientists and engineers to earn their gold. The possibilities are endless, and whatever girls choose, they can change the world for others. As you can see, we had 80 girls that completed their silver awards on last year. 385 girls completed their bronze award, and 25 girls completed their gold award. One girl each year is selected as the Young Woman of Distinction. Last year, Casey Paul earned this award. You will hear from Casey a little bit later in this presentation. Next slide, please. GSSEM is committed to getting girls outdoors, whether it's at camp or in their own communities. There are so many benefits to getting outdoors. It will boost your immune system, boost your energy, improve your short-term memory, and finally, outdoor experiences help fight depression and anxiety. As you review the numbers, with increased programming and activities, and with your commitment to attending GSSEM camps, we were able to increase our camp attendance by 860 individuals over 2018. And most notable is the number of troops that visited the beautiful Camp Playfair located on Lake Huron in Lexington, Michigan. So before you visit any other camp, check out what we have in the Go Guide and visit Camp Hawthorne Hollow or Camp Playfair. There is something for everyone. If you look at the bottom at the actual goals and the goal and the actuals for that year, Camp Playfair, our goal for the year was 561. The actual was 957. We had a tremendous turnout at Camp Playfair with some of the new activities in our new nature center as well as our new STEM center. We're continuing to do and look for new opportunities for girls to get to camp. And I want to thank you all for spending time at your GSSEM camps. Next slide. Go outdoors in your communities and parks. This slide represents events that has happened at local parks throughout Southeastern Michigan. Girls and adults have the opportunities to learn new skills while being outdoors. We've had so many new opportunities and program activities for girls to be able to get into the outer doors in their own communities outside of camp. Next slide, please. Over the years, you have asked the Council for more specific patch programs, and we have listened. This slide represents outdoor resources for our membership. Patch programs can be done at any time with anyone. In addition to our outdoor patch programs, you can see a complete list of all of our patch programs on the gsSEM.org website. These are great opportunities for girls to earn things over the summer and during this time period. Take a look at those patch programs and you have opportunities to earn some amazing things. Next slide. I talked about Camp Fury. A few years ago, we did this program over the weekend, but last year we decided to do a 5-day, 4-night experience for 50 seniors and Ambassador Girl Scouts. These girls not only came from just this area, but most girls come throughout the whole state of Michigan. They trained alongside firefighters and law enforcement personnel in search and rescue skills. They did crime scene investigation techniques, and they performed physical fitness drills. Girls also had the chance to meet women who are working in breaking down barriers and stereotypes in this male-dominated career field. This program was hands-on, and it produced the development of leadership skills, teamwork, respect, and self-confidence. Camp Fury is a collaborative program developed by Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan and the United States Border Patrol. Next slide. Last year, GSSEM also presented its inaugural event, Camp CEO. It is a leadership experience for area middle and high school girls who aspire to learn firsthand about being an executive woman in today's world. Camp CEO was a weekend overnight camp that brought 30 teens and 30 of Southeast Michigan's accomplished women executives together for a weekend. The girls were paired with a mentor for the day, and together they experienced a series of activities designed to help girls discover their leadership journey. And as you can see, one of the girls commented, "This experience has truly impacted my life." Next slide. I know many of you on this call either helped with program delivery or you are on a program committee. Whatever your support may be, on behalf of the entire program and outdoor education department, I want to say thank you. And with your continual support, we promise to have more partnerships, more opportunities, more adventures, more excitement for the upcoming year. This concludes my 2018-2019 program year in review. Do you have any questions for me?
Hey, Tiffany, we do have some questions coming in. So,
Okay.
Hold on one second. First question's from Pete Keating, but I can't get him unmuted.
Hi,
Oh,
Tiffany.
Go
just
ahead,
wanted
Pete.
to say what an outstanding result overall, and in particular, the fact that we had our first silver award through the Girl Scout Engagement Program, and I look for greater successes in the future. I remember when we started that effort, and it looks like it's really paying off. So thanks for you and your staff and all their hard work.
Thank you. That has been truly one of the largest impact of that engagement, is having girls to complete their high awards. So I will relay that message to the staff, and thank you.
Thanks, Pete. Next, we have a question from Marie Malecki. Go ahead, Marie.
I have a question concerning the patch programs, and I know that we've done a great job in having more programs available, and it's not like hunting for a needle in a haystack anymore within GSSEM. I was wondering if there are any plans to going forward to have a national database of all the available programs that you could potentially sort by zip code or by interest or by something. If your troop has gone to Chicago, or is going to Chicago, and you want to do a patch program in Chicago, it would be really great if you could, say, I'm going to Chicago, what do they have in Chicago? So Just wondering if there's anything like that planned for the future.
Well, we have troops when they have come into town specifically for the World First Robotics Championships that they have reached out to GSSEM to see if there are patch programs. It's something we can certainly take a look at. We do encourage troops to look at, if they're visiting other councils, to take a look at those individual websites to see if there are individual patch programs that they are offering. But certainly we can take a look at what that option is, and having troops to share with other troops would be a phenomenal opportunity. So we can take a look at that in the future.
Also,
So on the on one of the national Facebook Girl Scout Facebook pages, there was a list that was distributed, and with hundreds and hundreds of patches that a leader went to each council website and downloaded the links and listed them, but not always are our programs, our patch programs, necessarily geographically driven. A lot of times they can be done regardless of where you are. So it could be interest driven, it could be location driven, it could be topic driven. There's a lot of different, if you will, sorts that a pretty straightforward database would be able to help leaders see what's out there, and potentially plan trips around it. So I just think that it would be a good ad for
this is Denise.
the leaders. But I get that it's a national, would be a national effort, not a GSSEM effort.
I think that's a fantastic idea, and that's something that Telva and I will in my time, and I'm sure Telva would be willing to bring that forward. One of the key things, though, is that we've got to get Volunteer Services 2.0 up so that we can at least search other council events. But the idea, particularly, as you pointed out, in this era of the coronavirus and less contact, it would really behoove us as a movement to be able to offer as many resources as we can. The GSUSA, as I said, is posting that their site posted it yesterday. I was too busy preparing for this meeting to be able to take a look at it, but I think we should all take a look at it and see what is there. But yeah, that is a great idea, and I will use my contacts and make that suggestion. I don't know how soon that they can implement it, but man, gosh, that's just a wonderful idea.
So Denise, there was like I said, there was a leader that did do a lot of the legwork, and I made it's a Google Doc that I made available to my service unit on our Facebook page. I will go back, I'll copy that link, and I'll email it to you if that'll help.
Yes, that'd be great, because
then a reminder as well as a catalyst for getting it done.
Yes, and that'd be great, because then I could forward that link to the vice president in charge of that.
Great, thank you.
Marie, thank you for that question, that suggestion. Really cool, thanks. Okay, with that, we're going to move on to Melissa Atkinson has a question. Go ahead, Melissa. Melissa, are you out there, Melissa Atkinson? Okay, we'll come back to Melissa. Tiffany, we also have a question from Samantha DeMont. Go ahead, Samantha. Samantha DeMont, are you out there? We can't hear you if you're talking.
Okay, how's now?
There we go. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm here from 501, and my question, my family, we got the spring 2020 guide here recently, and my daughter was really excited about Camp Fury, and then we find out it's only for the older girls. I know earlier there was mention about investing more in that K through 8. Is there any plans for doing like more of those kind of camps for that age group? My daughter's a junior right now, so something that would be like with the first responders, or maybe not a weekend, but just like a day thing.
So we have started this program year doing some job shadowing and some other similar programs such as that. So I can take a look at that junior age level. The reason Camp Fury is for the older girls is because of the actual activities that they participate in.
Oh, yeah.
But I can certainly take a look at what opportunities we can have for that junior age level. Different, whether it's a one-day camp or a one-day program for girls, we can certainly take a look at that and take that into consideration. I can communicate with my camp team and see what we can come up with, because even Camp CEO is for our older girls, but we know that we want our juniors to start thinking about their careers and giving them those opportunities. So we can certainly take a look at that and consider that moving forward.
That would be great. And we're part of a mixed troop with juniors and brownies. And if there's anything that the brownies could do, that would be wonderful too. I know it's dependent on, the girls, and like with the firefighters, I'm sure there's some physical strength required, but just anything to keep them excited.
Okay, we will consider that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha. And we're going to try to go back to Melissa Atkinson. Melissa, go ahead. I can't hear you if you're talking, Melissa. Maybe unmute if you have a separate phone. Maybe you're muted in two places. Okay, we will go then to the next person. Amber Fuller.
Hi, yes, thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. My question is more for the platform again on the community level, just trying to get more leaders involved in doing events locally. Is there a way we can get platform support for whether it be Eventbrite or maybe even utilizing this new Volunteer 2.0 for registration and the fees then that the girls have to pay on top of attending an event?
Denise, can you jump in?
Boy, I wish we had Denise Minnelletti be able to answer that. Can we unmute Denise Minnelletti, the CFO, please?
Yep, I can do that. Yep, give me just a sec. Gotta find her. John, if you can beat me to it too, that'd be great.
And I'm sorry, who are we unmuting?
Denise Minnelletti. No, she's in here. Oh, there
She's
she
been
is.
unmuted.
I got it. Yep. Go ahead, Denise.
Hi, I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question?
Yes, my question is for our larger communities, trying to get leaders to either put on events or hosting girl-led events. We only usually are able to use either the Square or Eventbrite, all of which includes more additional fees that come out of these girls' pockets. Is there a way where we might be able to utilize Volunteer 2.0 or even eBiz to help offset some of those costs to hold more local events to get more girls involved in Girl Scouts?
So I know with the current situation for eBiz, there's not a way for community events or district events to be put on the system so that people could register. But I do understand with Volunteer Systems 2.0, that is something that GSUSA is looking at. So they're in the infant stages right now, working with several councils on the event piece of VS 2.0. So there's more to come on that, but that is one of the suggestions in a survey that came out, that they asked us how many community and district events we did and if that was something that we would like to have on VS 2.0. So there'll be more information coming out about that.
Oh, great. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Amber. And question now from Lori. Hold on, Lori Odell. I'm trying to get you off the mute, Lori. There we go. Go ahead, Lori.
Hi, I am the service unit manager for 503. And Tiffany, I'm just wondering, is there any effort being put into bringing outdoor education activities to the Western Edge?
I actually, prior to leaving out, had a conversation with camp staff, and we are really looking at our areas being very purposeful in making sure that our programming is not in one location. And so we have a map. And we are determining where our holes are, where we have not done programming, where we need to select and have a location. So if there are particular community areas, community parks in your area, if you can send me an email, I will be happy to work with my outdoor team to ensure that we are covering our whole council.
I appreciate that because we're so far out, we feel very ignored, and most of our parents are not willing to drive 40 minutes to an hour to get to a one-day event.
Okay, so my email address is tgriffin@gscm.org. And again, I will work with my outdoor staff to ensure that we are having programming in all of our areas of our council.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. We have no more questions at this time.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And now I would like to introduce you to Jackie Busey, our Vice President of Membership.
And you're unmuted, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Tiffany. So as Tiffany said, I'm Jackie Busey. I'm a lifetime member of Girl Scouts and have been employed with Girl Scouts throughout most of my professional career. It's been both my honor and my pleasure to work with volunteers like all of you, hopefully helping you navigate the ins and outs of serving as a role model and leader for girls. I'm also proud to currently represent Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan on a nationwide troop support and service unit thought partner group. Our group is currently working on projects that include the first year leader experience, service unit structure and support, and volunteer appreciation. Next slide, please. So last year I introduced you to a future Girl Scout, my granddaughter Charlotte. This year she's a proud member of Girl Scout Troop 30235 from Owasso, Michigan. My daughter Katie, who's a Girl Scout alum and lifetime member, is serving as her troop leader. Her involvement has reminded me how much you juggle as volunteers: families, careers, school, church, and other extracurricular activities, in addition to leading a troop of girls and helping them reach their goals through the Girl Scout Cookie program. I'm so grateful to support you all in your leadership and volunteer roles. We don't always get it perfect, but we continually strive to do all we can to make your experience more enjoyable. Next slide, please. The membership function in Girl Scouts is responsible for activities that take place to support and retain adult members. Retention activities include onboarding new leaders, training new and experienced leaders, answering questions on a daily basis, helping manage conflict, and supporting and partnering with our service unit level volunteers. Our very caring membership staff also support initiatives like global action and travel. Next slide, please. Last year, we updated our new troop leader onboarding process, as Denise spoke about in her presentation. We added more options to our troop leader and co-leader training, which was previously only offered online. It has been and is currently still being offered face-to-face with the help of our troop support specialists and volunteer adult learning facilitators via webinars facilitated by one of our volunteer experienced staff members and online. As Denise mentioned earlier, our Net Promoter Score increased from 16 to 21 points last year. Our updated volunteer service delivery structure has opened up several new administrative volunteer positions to support local service units, and we are continually recruiting new volunteers for those added positions. We will be continuing to develop and support the new structure, introducing new tools from GS USA that I'll speak about later in my presentation, as well as continuing to develop better ways to support you as you incorporate the use of the volunteer toolkit into your troop management. Next slide, please. Last year, Girl Scouts of the USA introduced us to the foundational troop experience. We know that if a troop participates in all of these activities using the 3 Girl Scout processes of girl-led, cooperative, and hands-on learning, they'll survive and thrive, retaining a majority of their members well into the next year and beyond. In order to support volunteers in these endeavors, we offer in-person and online trainings in a variety of areas. Last year, we provided 674 volunteers with training. New leaders who attended our training received a bag with a Girl's Guide to Girl Scouting for their grade level, along with a new Leader's Guide to Girl Scouting and a few other supplemental items to help them in their leadership journey. 90% of volunteers surveyed after the training said they felt comfortable with nearly all aspects of being a leader. We also offered grade level webinars last spring and updated our online supplemental training modules, even changing the name to Short and Snappies. Troops that complete most of the activities on the graphic can earn the Honor Troop patch, which was new in 2018 and 19 and has been updated for the 1920 membership year. Next slide, please. In January of 2019, a committee comprised of 12 volunteers representing 9 of our service units and 8 communities and Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan began meeting to discuss refreshing our volunteer service delivery structure. The committee was supported by 4 gsSEM staff members, including myself, the VP of Customer Care, Amanda Thomas, Director of Troop Support, Nafisa Williams, and the Director of Recruitment, Ruth Wilson. The purpose was to refresh our current volunteer service delivery structure in order to support a more effective Girl Scout leadership experience, develop ownership of our mission with our constituents, attract a committed volunteer workforce, attract and retain highly qualified administrative volunteers, and efficiently use our resources. The committee broke into 2 subcommittees and made recommendations to our current volunteer structure and district and community boundaries. Meetings were held over the course of January through April of last year with final recommendations presented in May. And these recommendations included districts now being called service units. The service unit manager position has replaced the leader support coordinator position, with other positions recommended to better support volunteers in our local service units, including a communications liaison position, welcome liaison, Girl Scout school liaison, and volunteer toolkit champion. Updated volunteer position descriptions have been developed with training to support the positions available in person, via webinar, and online. There were also some minor changes to service unit boundaries which affected those service units in Community 2 and 3. Over the spring and summer of 2019, each community held a planning meeting to plan for the 1920 membership year. Their plans included recruitment, events, and support for local volunteers. This year, the new service unit planning packet developed by GSUSA will be used in the planning process, which we're still tweaking in light of recent events. GSUSA is also in process of developing skill and topic-specific trainings for administrative volunteers, some of which will be distributed to councils this month and next. Next slide, please. Global Action is a movement-wide endeavor designed to encourage girls to learn about and take action on global issues. Last year, GSSEM established our first Global Action Committee. Volunteers Jan Robert John and Addison Mock are serving as co-chairs, supported by our staff. The committee held its inaugural meeting in June 2019. The Global Action Days Patch program was launched as well as a resource to engage our girls in our council with Global Action Days throughout the year. Girls and troops who observed 3 Global Action Days received free patches. In 2019, we distributed 102 of these patches. 60 girl-only member organizations of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts We'll be participating in a global roundtable at Girl 2020 to discuss the benefits of all girl spaces and engage meaningfully with each other. Each visiting country is being hosted by a participating U.S. council. In 2019, our council was accepted into this program. Our 2 girl and 2 adult hosting team will virtually connect with Malawi Girl Guides Association throughout 2020 and participate with them in the Global Roundtable at Girl 2020 in October. They held their first virtual meeting in February. Data shows that at each level girls move up to, we lose girl and adult members. In an effort to support bridging troops, GSUSA launched the first National Bridging Week last May. In addition to offering support materials to troops through our website, GSSEM celebrated by holding a bridging ceremony at Meet Me at the Zoo at Detroit Zoo on May 11th. Over 100 girls participated, including 1 ambassador who was bridging to be an adult member. Each young lady received a special greeting and patch from our board chair, Telva Magruder. You can see the pictures there. Though our overall utilization rate of the volunteer toolkit, an online resource for troop leaders, continues to be a challenge, well over half of our DAISY troops regularly use this resource. GSUSA continues to make improvements. In the 1920 year, more year plans were added for each grade level, which included the new badges. Service unit managers also received broad access to the volunteer toolkit so they could better assist troop leaders in their communities. Individually registered members, also known as Juliets, were also granted access this year. Locally, we've offered support webinars 3 times this year, as well as the new Volunteer Toolkit Patch program for volunteers. This patch for adults only has troop leaders doing 3 things to earn it: creating a year plan, completing an activity in their year plan, and submitting the troop annual financial report via the Volunteer Toolkit on or before June 21st, 2020. The patches will be distributed to troop leaders via service unit meetings by either your service unit manager, volunteer toolkit champion, or troop support specialist. Because troops are unable to meet at this time, we're hosting a webinar next week for leaders to show you how to continue your troop activities by using your VTK year plan and other virtual tools. If you're interested in this, you can go to the events calendar on our website to register. We'll also record it so you can access it on our learning page at a later date. We hope all these enhancements will encourage you to give the volunteer toolkit a try again. Next slide. GSUSA and GSSEM continue to put emphasis on retention of first year and bridging members, providing support and assets for local councils to use for spring renewal and bridging troops. For the past several years, Girl Scouts in Southeastern Michigan have participated in spring renewal. Renewal in the spring not only helps prepare you for a very busy fall back to school and troop season earlier, it also helps recommit families to the movement for the next membership year. All girls who renew during the spring renewal period, May 1st through June 30th, will receive a patch. Troops that renew 85% of their current girl and adult membership will qualify for a reimbursement of 2 adult memberships, and those that reach a goal of having 75% of their current troop members renewed will qualify for reimbursement of 1 adult membership. Our goal is to have 30% of our current membership renew during this time. Troop support staff will once again be offering extra support during the renewal period to assist troops through this process. Last year, we developed a bridging short and snappy and began offering grade level webinars in the spring for those leaders who needed extra support in working with the next level of Girl Scout. These tools are available still, and we've added more for this spring. Check our learning page on our website, as well as the events calendar for webinar dates. Additional future plans include launch of GS Learn this summer. GS Learn is an online learning platform from GSUSA. More support for service unit volunteers utilizing tools available this spring. Global action awareness activities for this summer and the 2020 2021 membership year, and additional support tools for first-year leaders that will be implemented in the fall of 2020. The last thing I want to highlight are surveys that our colleagues at the Girl Scout Research Institute send out every year. These surveys include a new leader onboarding survey, a joiner survey, and the Girl Scouts Voices Count surveys. New leader onboarding surveys are sent 60 to 75 days after a new leader joins. This survey asks new leaders and co-leaders specific questions about their onboarding experience. Our staff use the results of this survey to follow up with troops who may have questions or need additional support during their first year. Likewise, parents of new members receive a joiner survey 60 days after becoming a member. Both of these surveys give us important information about the experience our new members are having. Currently scheduled to launch in May, Girl Scouts USA will be conducting a national online survey with all parents and caregivers and troop leaders called Girl Scout Voices Count to find out what's working and what's not in Girl Scouts. All girls, parents, caregivers, and troop leaders are emailed a survey if their memberships are active as of February 1st. They opted in to receive emails from GSUSA and included a valid primary email address. Service unit volunteers will also be asked to complete a survey in late May and early June. I want to thank you if you participate in this survey in the past. If you receive a survey this spring, please participate. Both GSUSA and GSSEM use your feedback to improve our future Girl Scout experiences for all families and volunteers. At this time, I'll take any questions you have.
Okay, any questions for Jackie? Okay, Jackie, we have no questions at this time. Thank you very much to Amanda, to Tiffany, and to Jackie, as well as, of course, our CEO, Denise Dalrymple, for those updates. We're going to move on now to the board development report. And the report itself is in your delegate workbook. And I'd like to introduce Cindy Carlton, the chair of the board development.
And Cindy, you're unmuted.
Thank you, and thank you, Telva. As Telva said, the report is in your workbooks starting on page 29. The Board Development Committee is charged with nominating candidates to the Board of Directors and Board Development Committee at annual meetings and to address any vacancies that occur between the annual meetings. Our procedure for nominations is contained in the Guide to Council Board Development and Succession Planning, which is compiled by the Girl Scouts of USA. In January of 2020, the Board of Directors acted on the committee's recommendation to appoint Joe Robinson to Secretary 2017 through 2020 in order to fill a vacancy in that office. So I'm very excited today to bring to you a nomination for the following slate of candidates for election as Secretary and Directors at Large. For Secretary, Board of Directors, Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan, a 3-year term of office from 2020 through 2023, Joe Robinson. For Directors at Large, Board of Directors, Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan, a 3-year term of office, 2020 through 2023, Cynthia Carlton, Kevin Hendrick, Sarah Pobosic, and Angela Williams. And for Director at Large, Board of Directors, Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan, an unexpired 3-year term of office, 2018 through 2021, Greg Christensen.
Thank you, Cindy. The following have been nominated to the Board of Directors for the Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan. For Secretary, a 3-year term of office, 2020 to 2023, Joe Robinson. For Directors at Large, a 3-year term of office, 2020 to 2023, Cindy Carlton, Kevin Hendrick, Sarah Babosic, and Angela Williams. And for Directors at Large, an unexpired 3-year term of office, 2018 to 2021, Greg Christensen. In accordance with the bylaws, Article 5, Section 5, nominations from the floor, no additional nominations were received at least 10 business days before this annual meeting. As a reminder, only delegates may vote at this time. Those in favor of electing the slate for the Board of Directors as presented, raise your hand.
I see 66 hands raised. Now 67. Now 71.
Okay, thank you. John, please lower all hands. John will lower your hands for you, delegates. Thank you. Those, oh, okay, there we go. Those opposed to electing the slate for the Board of Directors as presented, raise your hand.
I see no hands raised at this time.
Seeing no hands raised, there's a majority in the affirmative and the slate is elected. Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to hand it back to Cindy and she will bring forth the slate for national delegates and alternates.
Yes, as mentioned previously, this is a convention year, and the Board Development Committee is charged with nomination of delegates and alternate delegates to the 55th National Council Session, which is being held in Orlando, Florida in October of 2020. The individuals selected include a range of adult volunteers with many years of combined service and girls who are proactive in Girl Scouts. These individuals will be representing our council at the 55th National Convention. The Board Development Committee nominates the following single slate of candidates for election as national delegates and national alternate delegates of the 55th National Council Session. For national delegate, Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan, a 3-year term of office, 2020 through 2023. Helen Sidbury, Lena McDonald, Haley Whitmore, Patricia Connor, Alexis Connor, Kathy Booth, Laura Flanagan, Laura Gretzendorfer, Nora Teagan, Amy Kohler, Addison Malk, Cassidy Bernard, J.D. Moreau, Duyan Avalone, Megan Taro, Kenyatta Junio, Telva Magruder, and the new incoming CEO of gsEM. For national alternate delegate, Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan, a 3-year term of office, 2020 through 2023. Jennifer Praler, Amy Nelson, Katie Donnelly, and Rosemary Nachman.
Thank you, Cindy. The following have been nominated as national delegates representing Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan. For national delegate, a 3-year term of office from 2020 to 2023, Helen Sidbury, Lena McDonald, Haley Whitmore, Patricia Connor, Alexis Connor, Kathy Booth, Laura Flanagan, Laura Gretzendorfer, Nora Teagan, Amy Kohler, Addison Mock, Cassidy Bernard, J.D. Moreau, Dean Avalone, Megan Taro, Kenyatta Janil, Telva Magruder, and the incoming CEO of GSSEM. For National Alternate Delegate, a 3-year term of office, 2020 to 2023, Jennifer Praler, Amy Nelson, Katie Donnelly, and Rosemary Stockton. In accordance with our bylaws, Article 5, Section 5, nominations from the floor, no additional nominations were received at least 10 business days before this annual meeting. As a reminder, only delegates may vote at this time. Those in favor of electing the slate for national delegates and national alternate delegates as presented, raise your hand.
I see 68 hands raised. I see 70 hands raised.
Thank you, John. Please lower all hands. Once again, John will lower hands for all delegates.
All those hands are lowered.
Those opposed to electing the slate for national delegates and national alternate delegates as presented, raise your hand.
I see 7 hands raised. I now see 6 hands raised.
There is a majority in the affirmative, and the slate is elected. Congratulations. Thank you, everyone, for your voting. We will now lower all hands.
All hands are lowered.
Thank you, John. Okay. I appreciate everyone's active participation today and listening and participating in presentations as well as the election. Let's move to the next slide. So at this time, we're going to do installation of the new board members, including officers and members at large that are both new to the board as well as re-elected moments ago. We do not have any new members to the board development committee at this time. So at this time, John, if we could unmute, sorry. If we could unmute Joe Robinson, Cindy Carlton, Kevin Hendrick, Sarah Pobosic, Angela Williams, and Greg Christensen.
Okay, I'm sorry, Talbot. Can you go through those one by one for me again?
I know, I was thinking, I went way too fast. Joe Robinson,
Got her?
Cindy Carlton,
Okay, you're self-muted, Cindy, so you just have to unmute when you get a chance. Next.
Kevin Hendrick,
Yeah, Smody actually has a question for you, which I'm not going to tell you, but and it's a question she asked around the time. It was before Ty's question, actually, and it's not related to coronavirus, but to God. So anyhow, yeah. Okay, well, we'll hang up, and Kevin, are you going to be able to go off it?
I've been on the Girl Scout annual meeting conference now.
Hey, Kevin. Can you mute Kevin for a moment?
I just did.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to him in a second.
Okay.
Sorry, the next one is, sorry, one moment. Sarah Pabosic.
Unmuted.
Angela Williams.
I do not see Angela Williams in the list.
I did know that. I'm sorry, Angela was not able to join us today. And Greg Christensen.
Unmuted. So shall we go back to Kevin?
Yes.
And Kevin is now unmuted.
Okay, great. So for all of the new officer and members at large, I'd like you to recite the Girl Scout promise with me as your commitment to the future of Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country,
to help people
at all times,
and to live by the Girl Scout
law. Thank you all, and congratulations, and thank you for your continued and new service. Fantastic. Okay, thanks, John. We can mute everyone again.
And we are all muted.
Okay, next slide. All right, so once again, many thank you to the current board members and those whose terms are expiring. We do have Lisa Schumpert, whose term as board member is expiring, and we will be sending her our acknowledgments and resolution. She cannot join us today. Okay, next slide. All right, so this is the moment many of you have been waiting for. I know I've been waiting for it. I'm honored to be able to introduce our 2019 Young Woman of Distinction, and she is going to share some great wisdom with you. Kathy Paul, welcome.
Cassie, you're self-muted. There you go.
Hi, I'm Casey Paul. I'm a junior at Marysville High School, and I was honored to be recognized as GSSEM's Young Woman of Distinction for this year. So this has been an amazing journey. I started looking for my gold award, what I wanted to do, when I was 14. Yeah, I still have a year left of high school. I just wanted to do something to help people in the hospital because I've had a lot of medical experiences. Some were good, some were horrible. So I really just wanted to help in that way. I contacted McLaren Port Huron because that's one of my local hospitals. And I just said, hey, what can I do? And they actually said, well, nothing at this point. We don't have anything. About 2 weeks later or so, a lady named Megan Wilson contacted the hospital. Her son's name is Levi, and Levi has autism. And I joined together with her and me, Megan, and then a lady named Kathleen McKenna. She is Surgical Services Director at McLaren Port Huron. We formed a program called Levi's Link. It was autism based. We wanted to help people with autism any way that can make their hospital journey easier. And we ended up opening it up to anyone who has physical or mental disabilities, and that they can come in and they can get any services that they need. I kind of took over the role of making social stories and videos. So what a social story really is like step-by-step booklet. Like first you will walk into the doors. You will see a big red sign saying enter, like step-by-step, very detailed so that patients will know what they will be experiencing. Yeah, I was 14, 15, 16 by the time this was all complete. So I had to end up telling adults what I wanted to be done in order to help this project grow and become what it is today, which for me, that was terrifying because you don't really want to tell adults what to do at any age, especially how young I am. But my leadership skills have grown by being a Girl Scout and by getting this Gold Award. I had to take a stand for what I believed in and put my full force effort into this project. I had to tell the adults how to complete the tasks that I wanted done while showing respect to them in their position of authority. I learned to be confident in myself and my abilities because I am young, but I still can do whatever I wanted to do. I said I'm your young one of distinction for this year, and this has really just pushed me as hard as I could to be confident in what I am and who I'm going to be. I've had people become aware of Levi's Link, and a couple people have recognized me. They're like, "Oh, you're the girl from the videos." I'm like, "You recognize me? Okay, yes." So I got to spread Levi's Link around my community. I went to several different events to just spread the word of Levi's Link, and it has really impacted this community. Since I was selected as Young Woman of Distinction, I got to throw out the first pitch at Comerica Park before a Tigers game. Employees at McLaren Port Huron have become more aware of Levi's Link. A lot of people who were working at McLaren didn't know that Levi's Link was a thing. And then I was able to help spread it throughout the hospital. And people were like, wow, this is a great program. And Levi's Link is now available in surgical services, like the post-op area too, on the pediatrics floor and in the emergency room. And there's even, they made their own social story in women's wellness based off of Levi's Link. So it was just a really amazing experience. And I thank you all for having confidence in me. And I'd like to thank Jan Robert John for being my mentor. I think I saw her name on here today. So thank you, Jan, for all of your help. And thank you for everyone that's made this possible.
Thank you so much, Casey. I have personally talked to some people from your area that have talked about Levi's Link, and so you are definitely making an impact, and absolutely fantastic that you're a 2019 Young Woman of Distinction for good reason. For everyone, once again, the video that we would normally watch that highlights Casey's project is going to be made available after this meeting, and so you'll be able to take a look at that and just, I think, appreciate even more the impact that she's had. And I know, Casey, you said you're so young, and you may be younger than the many Gold Award Girl Scouts, but you're certainly old enough to make an impact. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. And with that, we're at other business on the agenda. I do not have any other business. I just want to take a couple of minutes to once again thank everyone for your active participation and fantastic questions and input today at the meeting. Thank you to all of the panelists today and all the speakers for your presentations, as well as ongoing support for gsSEM. A couple of things to keep in mind as just before we adjourn the meeting. As we know, we're going through a very difficult time right now, and there's no time like the present to continue to commune together and with our girls, particularly our Girl Scouts. These are young women of courage, confidence, and character that make the world a better place. Even if they're the youngest Scout to the oldest Scout, they have the ability to continue to learn at this time and to continue to grow at this time in Girl Scouting. And so I know that we all support making that happen, and let's make it happen. The council is continuing to work really hard every day to ensure that the girls have as many opportunities as they can during this time of, staying home and isolation and social distancing, I should say. So let's be positive as we are by nature and continue to move forward. So once again, thank you, everyone. And with that, may I have a motion?
Karen Eman has her hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. One moment. Go ahead, Karen. Oh, she put her hand down. Oh, go ahead, Karen. Wait. One sec.
I think Karen's self-muted. Karen, you need to click on your microphone.
And Karen, you may have a phone, a telephone that's needed as well. So. No? Okay, we'll try Rose Callahan and Karen. Oh, wait, go ahead, Karen. There you are.
That was totally an error. My apologies.
Okay. Rose Callahan, you have your hand raised for any final comments. You're self-muted as well, so if you can unmute yourself. Rose, you still appear to be muted. Rose Callahan, can you unmute your phone or your desktop? Oh.
I just wanted to add that we normally would have the Adult Volunteer Recognition Awards luncheon immediately following this meeting, but of course this year everything is different. I just wanted to recognize that we have a tremendous number of very dedicated volunteers and congratulate them for the awards that hopefully we will get a chance to celebrate a little bit later. Thank you all.
Oh, thank you, Rose. Absolutely. You know, it has been, and Denise and I have spoken a lot about this, and she with the staff. It was a really, really difficult decision. We've made some really difficult decisions lately, and one of them being having to not have our volunteer recognition today. Thank you very much, Rose, for bringing that up. We have so many amazing, amazing volunteers in our council, and we absolutely value you, and we are working to ensure that you know that in every way that we can. So thanks, Rose. Great comment. Nicole Blades, you were also self-muted, Nicole? Nicole, can you try to unmute your telephone or your desktop?
Okay.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Yes, I have ambassadors graduating this year, and I was told that we had until September 30th to use our funds. But with the coronavirus going on, there's a lot of things the girls can't do with their troop funds. Will that be extended for these girls?
Hold on, let me get Denise and Denise.
Yes. We'll
There
have
we go.
to, yes. There are, we meet every day. The chiefs and I meet every day. And there are so many, many little details. So thank you for raising that. And yes, we will extend that. That's just one of those details we haven't gotten to yet.
Okay, thank you.
It also reminds us all, and definitely me, how my heart goes out to all the seniors this year. And so thank you for asking that question, Nicole. They're going through a lot right now. Thank you. Okay. It doesn't appear we have any other questions.
I do not see any
All
other
right.
hands raised.
Okay, thank you, everyone. May I have a motion, and if you'd like to motion, just raise your hand. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Okay, wow, we have several.
I see many hands.
Yes, the credit goes to Patricia Flaga. Thank you. And then let's put all the hands down really quickly, John.
I will put everybody's hands down now.
And then may I have a second? Everyone's ready to go. Thank you, everyone, for staying late today. We know we started a little bit late, and I greatly appreciate your participation and appreciate you every day. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe and healthy. The meeting is now adjourned.
And we will now end the meeting for everybody.